Red Edition, welcome, a happy day. What do you think about President Okami? He is off now to South Africa for a funeral, but you know what? While that's okay, in fact, it's kind of cool, he didn't go to the funeral of Margaret Thatcher. She was a conservative and she was a great politician. He refused to go, and no one else went from America either, and the flag was not flown at half-mast, and now it is for the fella in South Africa. Again, you know what? I get it. You're going to do nice things, but you gotta be consistent. Maybe do it with the right as well as with the left. And that's not very nice. And a lot of people are commenting about that. The press is even upside down on this one. That's a rarity. Here's a judge now in Canada, Killam, Alberta. Back in February 2012, a man shot two officers. And after he finished shooting them, other officers came along, went into his house, and they found his uncle dead. He had shot the uncle. Same gun, same day, same everything. Here's the rub, though. The judge now, I'm talking about 2 days ago, has ruled there is, in fact, enough evidence to send this man to trial on charges of attempting to kill two Mounties. Kind of squeaky, those wheels of justice. Maybe rusty. That's almost 2 years ago. You got a guy in the act. They're wounded. He's got the guy. There's a dead guy in his house, and it takes you 2 years. I don't really understand that. Here's a sheriff. He defies Obama's order to lower the flag for Mandela. He says Mandela was not an American. I got nothing against him or anybody else, but he's not an American. You could only put the flag down at half-mast for Americans. Don't know if he's right or not, but that's what he's saying. Guns everywhere in the world. Women. There's a high percentage of women gun owners, and in particular shooters now, and they're good shooters. Unfortunately, they outshoot us man types, you know, but there's 23% of all women in the United States now report owning a firearm. 50%, that's half of all women in Canada, or shooters in Canada rather, are women, and they say that 18% of Canadian women actually own a firearm. I wonder if that's right. It's got to be. You got to believe what you read, right? That's pretty interesting, though, because Swiss men and women now, they ride often with bicycles. It's a common sight, going to shooting competitions or to a range to practice, and they have guns over their shoulders, and that's the way it should be. It was that way when I was a kid growing up, and nobody came and put handcuffs on you because you were considered to be good, unless you did something bad. I mean, preventive law, which is what governments are doing now, doesn't work. It's not nice. It takes away your liberties. They're saying you're guilty. Maybe you can prove yourself innocent. You can't even do that, not when it comes to firearms. Okay, Saudi Arabia. They can't own guns there. I'm still talking about women. It's against the law. And they're saying, but hey, we're getting pounded here. We want the right to defend ourselves. Too bad. Have a nice day. You can't. Here's a woman in Georgia, in America. She found herself glued to a toilet seat. I shouldn't laugh. It would be a terrible thing, wouldn't it? Somebody went in and took this Loctite GO2 glue. It's a product that not only boasts of durability, but has a little versatility, and I guess it's a good product. And somebody came into the restroom, in a ladies' restroom, and put this glue over every seat in the place. And here's one woman, I guess she really had to get in there quickly, and she just didn't observe it, you know. And she sat down, and she was stuck there, as it were, and emergency medical services were called in to help remove the woman from the toilet, and she was transported to a hospital. Shouldn't laugh. Texans are now saying, hey guys, the government, we've been after you forever and a day to come down here and secure our borders, and you didn't do it. You can't do it. I guess you're too dumb. We're doing it ourselves. And they've been very successful. Not a lot of guys getting across that border now, and it's costing the Texas government $5 million a month. And they're saying, look at us. And I agree with that. I think it's great. I guess my only point would be, why are you just doing this now? Why did you count on them in the first place? Why do you rely on someone else to do what you want to do? They are like people. You become reliant, dependent on someone else. It's like my wife and I were driving. She's always navigating, telling me where to go. And occasionally when I'm alone for a few minutes, I'm kind of stumped. I get over it real fast because I can drive. I got GPS, you know. You know what I mean. The point is you shouldn't rely on somebody else all of the time, and particularly in a case like this. How do I get from driving to illegal immigrants? I know, but in any event, it worked, and now it's continuing to work. And finally, they're saying, we don't need the feds to help us. You do not. Of course you don't. Thank goodness, and welcome back out of the ether. Let me end today with this. Sarcasm at its very best. A woman takes her young daughter to the doctor. The doctor says, okay, Mrs. Jones, what's the problem? Well, it's my daughter Debbie here. She's sick every morning and she's gaining weight and I can't figure it out. And the doctor looked at her and said, well, I can tell you what, she's 4 months pregnant. And the mother said, pregnant? She can't be. She's never ever been with a man. Isn't that right, Debbie? Absolutely, Mom. I'm a virgin. I've never been with anybody. Doctor can't be right. And the doctor walked over to the window and he just stood there. This kind of goes with Christmas a little bit. He stood there staring outside, and about 5 minutes later, the mother finally says, is there something wrong out there, doctor? No, not really. It's just that the last time anything like this happened, a star appeared in the east and 3 wise men came over the hill, and there's no way I'm going to miss it this time. Y'all come back tomorrow, we'll get more for you from the right. See ya.